Okay, now it's ready to receive the top crust. And in order to do the top crust, I'm going to use the same technique to show you how I make little appliques and steam vents that are decorative. Okay, this feels a little bit sticky from the heat. So I'll also sprinkle this with a little bit of flour. And cookie cutters, or even small aspic cutters, if you want to make lots of tiny cuts, are fine to use. I have this heart-shaped cutter. I can dip it in a little flour just to make absolutely sure that it doesn't stick. And then I decide where I want to make my cut and press it through all 4 layers. Turn it a little bit against the bottom to make sure it cuts through, and it's lifted it all out. And now you have 4 little hearts that you can use to put on top of the crust as well. Because they're going to be standing up higher than the rest of the dough, they'll brown more and they'll stand out in a kind of relief, which is very attractive. Now I can just take this as I did the bottom crust and place it on the top. Now there's going to be a little line, but it will disappear after baking, so don't be concerned about that. You can see that nothing could be simpler than turning out a really lovely looking apple pie. Now I'm going to press the 2 crusts together to make sure that they seal even before I cut it. I'll have my little heart standing by. If you have egg glaze, I prefer to let an apple pie just have its own natural brown crust. But if you have a little bit of egg glaze, then you can use it to attach these appliques. If not, you can use a little bit of egg white or even water. They don't hardly need anything to stick on. So just neatly trim off the excess dough. And now I'm going to stick on my hearts before I completely forget about them. There's just so many scraps of pastry here, I'm afraid I may forget. Okay, now these I can do the other direction, upside down, just for a little variety. Actually, egg glaze, although it makes a cake, rather a pie, look very attractive, it toughens it slightly. So there's a disadvantage to it too. Okay, here's the 4th heart. All you really need is 1 steam vent in the center to prevent the juices from bursting and the steam from bursting through the sides. But this makes the pie look very attractive. Now, for my favorite border, first I turn it under on all sides. So I have a nice thick border of dough to work with. And now, using the sides of my hands, the sides of my index finger and my thumb, I pinch the dough together and then work my finger into the side and pinch it up. And the secret to making this stay is not baking the pie immediately. What I do now normally is I let it sit in the refrigerator for an hour to relax the gluten in the flour. And just in case I just recently rolled out my pie crust, I would want it to be able to relax, and then I put it in the freezer for an hour. If time allows, what that does is that it sets the pastry so that when it goes into a 425-degree oven, before the pastry can start, the butter can start melting, the shape will be held, and you'll have that beautiful side border. I continue all the way around like this, and now I'm going to set aside this pie and take out another pie just like it that has been baking at 425 degrees for 50 minutes to an hour, or until beautifully golden brown. And here is my apple pie.